So loudness and projection are quite different. Under the ear, you can have an instrument that is very loud, but it might not project very well. For most of my clients, I would say their ideal instrument is an instrument that is not too loud under the ear. Nobody wants to have their ears ring or go deaf or anything like that. So they like an instrument that isn't too loud under the ear, but projects extremely well. Again, in my estimation, there are two kinds of projection. The first is kind of like a laser beam kind of sound. If I'm the musician, I've got a laser of sound that's coming toward you, the audience, and that sound is hitting you in the head, and it's almost a visceral kind of, you feel like you're being, it's got negative connotations, but you feel almost like you're being assaulted by the sound. That's one kind of projection. Another kind of projection is whereby the musician is playing and the audience, it seems as they're not sure where the instrument sound is coming from. They're enveloped by the sound. So acoustically, I don't know what the instrument's doing, but somehow it's taking better advantage of the room. There are certain frequencies that are matching and working better together or something, but it's making it so that from the audience, from the listener's perspective, they feel like they're surrounded by sound instead of being hit with sound. What I've found is that if an instrument has the kind of projection we were talking about earlier, where you're almost being hit with the sound, it's very difficult to hear a lot of the finer details of what a musician's doing. You won't hear a lot of the vibrato very clearly. Subtleties of fingerings and things like that you won't hear. Whereas with the other kind, the more enveloping kind of projection, it's pretty amazing what you can hear. And what I've only heard a handful of really great instruments. They weren't necessarily really expensive instruments, but really great instruments that projected very well, that had that capability, where I'm in the audience and I felt like I could just as easily have been sitting with the musician. So this is something that's often it's very difficult to pin down, but differentiate within your own mind between loudness and projection and decide what you're looking for. And I've had lots of situations where someone said the instrument isn't loud enough, and I'm not sure what they're referring to. Are they saying it doesn't project very well, or are they saying that it doesn't have enough punch? I don't know. The projection that has that kind of more laser beam, it's going to feel punchier to the audience, which might be a desirable trait. But as a musician, you need to differentiate between the two and decide what route you'd like to go.